Hi, IPGI here. Today is officially January 8th, Monday. That means the first week of the year has ended. If you didn't know, I have a big list of goals this year, and one of them includes running my local trail in under an hour. This trail has a big loop which is 7.3 miles. If I want to run this in under an hour, I have to run it at an 8 minute and 13-second pace. Historically speaking, I have not been a runner and I've not been a fast runner. I've run quite slow. It's been a very long time since I hit a 8-minute mile. Most likely, I have not done that in over 10 years. And that makes this challenge especially difficult for me. Because I have not been a runner, I have not really focused on cardio. That means I have to work quite hard to actually improve my cardio to achieve this goal. I've never run 7.3 miles and I've never run them that fast. Now, I am quite a big fan of walking and rucking. If you don't know, rucking is basically walking, jogging, or running with a weight on your back. Usually, I just drop some weights in my backpack and go for a walk, or I will just go for a walk without them. Typically, I'll walk an hour a day, and I'm quite a big fan of that. I love the fresh air, I love the outdoors. However, once again, I'll reiterate, I have not been a runner. So this year, I have gone on quite a few rucks already. If I had to guess, I would say I've gone on 5 rucks with 45 pounds on my back, which isn't so bad, but it's not like running. It's quite different. I had this idea yesterday that I should record my progress in this challenge, record the amount of miles I run every week, and make sure I'm on pace to actually complete this challenge. And just a few hours ago, yesterday, I saw a good family friend who is on a mission to lose some weight, and he told me that he'd recently started running. That's not something I expected from him, and I'm quite proud. So, thank you, Lazar, for that. You have inspired me today to go out myself and get some cardio in. And that's really what I needed. I needed to put in some miles before the week ended. I needed to put in some miles so I could at least know that I am working towards this goal. I am progressing. I will say I was not looking forward to this at all. I like fitness, I like working out quite a bit, but running has never been my forte. I actually got in my garage and lifted some weights to kind of pump myself up for this run. I recently read the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and David Goggins is a retired Navy SEAL. When he was still a Navy SEAL, he decided to run 100 miles in 24 hours. He decided this with no training beforehand. He had not run in 6 months, and for some reason, he decided he was going to squat very heavy the day before his 100-mile race. And that is a mentality that I really love. That is a bit of craziness, a bit of chaos that he seems to have had under control. He ended up running 101 miles in 18 hours with no prior training. I think that's incredible. And I thought if I could just encapsulate even a tiny little speck of that untapped potential that all of us have within us, I would be unstoppable today. And so I tried to channel my inner David Goggins. I did my squats. I worked up to 225 pounds. In his book, he said that him and a fellow Navy SEAL were doing heavy squats, high reps with 225 pounds. I decided I'd do my own squats with 225 pounds. I did a few sets and I decided enough is enough. I geared up, put on 4 layers on top because it's freezing outside. I put on 2 layers of pants, gloves, even a scarf, a hat, and I took off. I don't have running shoes, honestly. I haven't bought sneakers in years. The closest thing I have are a pair of basketball shoes, some Air Max basketball shoes that I decided were the closest thing I have to running shoes. And they're not running shoes. I'll say that right now. They're absolutely not running shoes. I might need to make an investment and get some running shoes for myself. Anyways, I went on my first run in years and I had 3 goals in mind. Number one, breathe through the nose. No mouth breathing for me today. I'm breathing only through the nose, only nasal breathing. I don't want to be exasperated. I want everything under control. I want to be in control this run. Number two, stay on the balls of my feet. Stay bouncy. Use my calves. Stay on the balls of my feet. I didn't want to be landing on my heels. I wanted to make sure I'm running the way I need to be and I have some forward momentum bouncing off of the balls of my feet. And number three, don't stop. Don't stop. In my mind, I kind of thought that don't stop meant you can slow down, you can walk, don't stop moving. However, in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to run this whole thing without stopping, without slowing down. I wanted to run, right? And so beforehand, I found a little website. I plotted myself a route, 2.4 miles, and I decided 2.4 miles is good. When time came to run, I had my route memorized and I started off with a little walk. I started bouncing a little bit on my calves, on the balls of my feet. I started real slow. I was thinking back to that book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. No, actually, an interview with David Goggins where he says the first 20 minutes of his run look like he's limping because he is. His body is so broken down and messed up that he has to spend some time at the start to figure out how can I make this body actually run? How can I get something efficient out of this body? How can I actually make this work? How can I make this broken body move? And that's what I had in my head. What I decided, what I figured out is first off, going real slow, I figured out, okay, this is a bearable pace. Now, how do I feel? How do my knees feel? How do my quads feel? What about my calves? I'm staying on the balls of my feet. I'm breathing through my nose, and everything's all right. So I picked up the pace a little bit, still going quite slow, mind you, and I just went on my way, thinking about that David Goggins quote where he says his body's broken, he needs some time to figure out how to make some use out of it. And so I went off slowly, and all seemed quite well. Even in the basketball shoes, even in the freezing cold, even in the wet weather, the wet, snowy, icy weather, it was all good. I was feeling all right. I had not stopped at all, and I made it nearly 1 mile, and then my basketball shoes decided, even though I double knotted them, we're gonna untie. And so I stopped, tied up my laces, got back up, started walking, started jogging, started running. And that was right before the 1 mile point. I was actually thinking in my head, I have not run 1 mile without stopping maybe in my life. Maybe in my life, I've never done that before. And as luck has it, I didn't have that today either. I stopped right before the 1 mile point. I memorized exactly where it is, and right before it, not even 100 feet, I had to stop, tie up my laces, and get back to it. But after that, everything was solid. I kept those three things in mind: nasal breathing, bouncing on the balls of my feet, and not stopping, keeping a pace that I can manage. I had to keep checking back with myself, making sure that I was doing these things, but overall, it was all very solid, and I made it home. I ran those 2.4 miles in 25 minutes and 32 seconds and 88 milliseconds. That equals a 10-minute and 39-second per mile pace, which is not very impressive at all. It's actually quite slow still. I have a 5K I logged in my notebook from 3 years ago where I hit the exact same pace, 10-minute 39. And I've also got one a few weeks later where I hit a 12-minute pace. So those were done with walking, those were done, taking off like a rocket, exhausting myself, and then really suffering through the rest of the run. Today, it was super bearable. I felt all right, and I've never run like this before. This was probably the best run of my life, honestly. I broke a bit of a sweat. My calves are used. I'll say that. Overall, though, very positive, very positive. I know I've got plenty of room to grow, especially if I can continue to run like this. If I can continue to log some miles where I'm not stopping, I'm getting a feel for what's a pace that I could set. I'm nasal breathing, keeping my breath under control, not cramping up. There's a lot of potential for me in this. And I still see this goal as absolutely feasible. 8 minutes and 13 seconds per mile. Here I come. This upcoming week, this current week, I will make sure to log all of my cardio, whether it be a walk, a ruck, or a run. I'm going to log it. I want to see how many miles I'm actually doing all of this stuff, especially the running. I want to add some miles every week. I want to be running some miles every week, and that seems to be the best way for me to achieve that goal is just get the miles under my belt. I got my first 2.4 miles done on the last day of the first week of 2024, and this has been my running vlog. Week 1 is done. I'm quite satisfied with how it went. I might need to invest in some running shoes. I don't know how long I'm going to be running these basketball shoes. Those waxy laces are absolutely going to untie again, so maybe it's time to make an investment. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any advice for me on the running, on how I can work to achieve my goal of a 8 minute and 13-second per mile pace for 7.3 miles. If you've got any advice at all on running, I'll be happy to hear it. And thank you for watching. Bye.